Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadosh. Double honors the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to your Akims out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barakah the Yahweh, Barakah the Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadosh, Barakatam. So, pretty much though, hey, they're gearing up for World War III, and we know where World War III is really going to be fought, but nonetheless though, Department of Defense plans Eastern Europe nuclear strike simulation to prepare for potential collapse of world's agricultural system. Putin has hinted at the use of nuclear weapons response if West allows Ukraine to use long-range weapons inside Russia, which you already know that Biden's already approved of that. So this is what the Department of Defense is preparing for, an all-out nuclear war, which is scriptural. But this nuclear war is mostly going to be taking part in the Valley of Yehoshaphat when Damascus ceases in that day, is what starts the war. Program stimulating the potential effects of a nuclear strike on worldwide agriculture is in the works of the Department of Defense, according to procurement notice, and the focus will be on areas beyond Eastern Europe and Western Russia. So, yeah, they are simulating this, so, you know. Well, got more here on what happened on that day. Israeli airstrikes target Hezbollah on the same day of the pager attack. So, you know, Amalek has been drawing everyone into this war. You know, because this definitely has gotten the attention of Hezbollah as well as all of its neighbors. Oh yeah, and another thing, just like all the bullshit with Donald Trump, you know, these so-called assassination attempts, I guess they're trying to simulate the same thing with Benjamin Not a Jew to keep this ramped up, you know, the whole assassination thing. So, well, that tells me that they're going to change both of them. Yeah, that change is coming. That they're saying that Donald Trump may become the president-elect and then he'll get assassinated, as well as Benjamin Not a Jew getting assassinated, because they're simulating all these assassination attempts. And like everything else though, it's all part of the bread and circuses shit show. More communication devices explode in Lebanon just a day after the pager blast. So there's more of this. So here we go. It didn't say it was too graphic, so I think I could play this one. There's another one. It's too graphic, which anything I can't play on here, I'll just put in another video for the other channels. This is definitely a Mossad operation. I mean, that took out a whole vehicle. Lots of things blew up. And like everything else, though, they're also pounding Hezbollah with fucking, you know, airstrikes. Hezbollah vows to continue pro-Gaza operations as death toll from pager blast rises to 12. And this was on Wednesday. Oh, this is Wednesday. Hezbollah vows to continue its anti-Israeli strikes in support of the Gaza Strip, which is subject to genocidal Israeli war, asserting that the recent Israeli atrocity that caused casualties in Lebanon will only strengthen its resolve to continue the path of struggle and resistance. So, they want a war with them, they're getting one. More tech devices explode across residential areas of Lebanon as Israeli terror attack continues. Globalists escalate tensions worldwide ahead of destructive Great Reset events. After thousands of people were injured and many killed by a wave of exploding pager devices on Tuesday, another attack was launched Wednesday. You know, so they continue their attacks. I'm not going to play all these, but you get the general idea. Well, I think some of that was in the previous video anyways. So, you can see these things. So when they explode, I mean, obviously it caused the whole car to get on fire. 41,272 dead in Gaza Strip since the beginning of the extermination war. So, yeah, a lot of things happening in this Valley of Yehoshaphat. Iran president condoles with Lebanon, says Israeli state treacherous mass assassination won't go unpunished. You know, because, hey, when you, disrupt electronic devices and cause them to explode, yeah, those are assassination attempts. Iran president offered condolences to Lebanon over the casualties caused by waves of exploding telecommunication devices, saying Israelis' treacherous mass assassination will not go unpunished. He made remarks on Thursday after thousands of pages and walkie-talkie radios belonging to members of Hezbollah detonated across Lebanon in simultaneous explosions on Tuesday and Wednesday, killing more than 30 people and wounding 3,250 others. Allah is invincible and will take revenge, and the criminal will definitely be punished justly. Pezeshkian also expressed Iran's support for Lebanon after the terrorist attack, for which Hezbollah vowed retaliation against the Israeli state. So things are heating up over there, and then I got more in this little video here from RT. Hey man, things are picking up in the Valley of Yehoshaphat, which is where the real nuclear war is going to be fought. It's not going to be fought over Ukraine, even though Ukraine will be part of it. The real war is over here.
About the hour in Israel, where the nation's defense minister says a new phase of war is on the way.
Well, it's a worldwide war anyway.
Some of the troops in the south that have been fighting in Gaza to head north to the border with Lebanon. Well, meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister has reassured displaced citizens they will get their homes back.
I have already said we will return the people of the north to their safe homes. That is what
so
we will
here's
do.
your instigator.
The center of gravity is moving north, meaning that we are allocating forces, resources, and energy for the northern arena. We have not forgotten the hostages, and we have not forgotten our mission in the south. We are committed to our duties, and we are carrying them out simultaneously.
Well, video circulating online reportedly shows Israel moving Merkava tanks to the border with Lebanon. Earlier, the IDF announced preparations for a possible escalation of the conflict with Hezbollah.
There you go.
Wednesday also saw a continuing exchange of fire between Israel and Hezbollah forces as Israeli jets pounded sites across southern Lebanon. The IDF says it took action in response to the barrage of 40 rockets that the militant group launched into Israel. Hezbollah announced it's lost 5 of its members in the latest Israeli attacks from the pager bombings and other airstrikes. As Israel and Hezbollah have exchanged cross-border fire for almost a year now, the north of Israel is nearly empty as thousands of citizens have been forced to evacuate. Some of them are now calling for a full-scale war to defend their nation. Over now to our RT Middle East Bureau Chief Maria Finoshina, who has the details.
Things are just getting warmed
Northern
up.
Israel has felt like a ghost region for months now. Tens of thousands of residents packed up and left when Hezbollah and Israel started exchanging rockets across borders last year. Those who stayed have shifted from living in fear of a potential major conflict to tensely calling for it.
I think that there should be a war. There needs to be a war. Things need to be sorted out. Finished.
You're the ones that are starting it.
We don't know what will happen tomorrow. What's happening today? We know nothing, and we feel abandoned. The army needs to enter. The army needs to finish things as they should.
Goddamn
no more
gutter
talking.
rats.
There was enough talking.
See,
Borders like
these
this. We have a
Amalekites
siren,
could
we have
never be
15
peaceful.
seconds, and we need to enter a protected space. That is scary. It's just grabbing the kids and the dog and praying to God that nothing happens and it doesn't hit us. I think we should push them back. Because in the end, this is our border. I hope there will be peace.
Here in Nahariya by the sea, a Hezbollah drone hit a high-rise apartment building last Monday, leaving residents in shock and ready to take decisive action.
In my opinion, the only option is war. Only war and only a massive response from the IDF against
Amalek's calling for war, and they're going to get their war.
Happen, maybe it won't. There will never be quiet in Israel. There will always be something. There are always wars. And now
Yeah, because you're
I think there
starting
needs
them.
to be a solution to show that we have enough strength to protect the residents. a new military solution. Strong
See
and
how they
decisive
play
so
the
we can live in
victim, but
peace
they're the
without
ones
fear.
starting these wars.
We move further north to Kiryat Shmona, where the border with Lebanon meets the city's outskirts. We are driving through what feels like a no man's land. There are some cars parked here and there, but just a few. A colony of cats have blocked our way. Abandoned by their owners, these pets have turned feral. At the city's observation hill, we meet a few people, mainly journalists and military stationed in the area. A bomb shelter has been recently installed here, as anti-missile sirens sound almost daily. In the past 11 months, thousands of rockets and drones were fired toward Israel from behind that mound. Situated in a pocket surrounded by Lebanon on three sides, Kiryat Shmona has been under attack since Hezbollah joined Hamas in confronting Israel last year. Once home to up to 25,000 people, now the city stands abandoned, and many residents, while eager to return, say they could stay away a bit longer to allow the Israeli army to complete its job. Israel is a spokesperson with Fighting for the North Forum. It is uniting thousands of evacuees from Israel's border region. He says they demand yet another war, thinking it would give them a long-term victory.
We need to go into Lebanon now, take territory inside Lebanon, push Hezbollah back up to the Litani River, and make that area belong to Israel. Attack
So you know that that's going to draw everybody into this war,
so that in the coming years
because you know that Hezbollah and Lebanon are allies with Iran,
passing through there.
with
And if it's
Persia.
under Lebanon's control, and Lebanon is okay with Hezbollah coming through, then yes, we'll take that area from them.
There's been some debate lately within Israeli military and intelligence circles about
But it won't go
whether the country is
unanswered.
ready for a
It won't
big
be
conflict in the
unpunished.
north, considering how Gaza has been ravaged. Israel tells us his people have complete faith in Israel's
Because you know that
capabilities to launch
Syria
yet another front in
will
the conflict.
eventually enter this war,
Israel's
because
intelligence,
they want
even though it
Golan
failed on
Heights
October
back
7th, is generally
anyways.
excellent. We've seen that with the assassinations of Mohammed Deif and other senior Hamas members. Israel knows Israel is ready, and what it needs most is to get out of the mindset that these things aren't dangerous, that they won't hurt, and that we can solve it diplomatically, because we've seen so many times that's not true.
Just hours after we recorded this interview, thousands of Hezbollah communication devices exploded simultaneously across Lebanon, resulting in tens of deaths and thousands of injuries. The militant group vows to retaliate, pointing the finger at Israel. Israel, for its part, is still keeping quiet. The chances of a serious escalation are even greater now, along with the fears of those who oppose a military solution.
We are now looking at a country that will enter a confrontation, perhaps one of the most bleeding and most difficult that we have known. People will die here. Buildings will collapse. It will be a tough, tough time for us. It looks we are going to have an escalation in the north. We still have 101 hostages, and the father of Orion...
And the hostages is just fucking fake as fuck, man. It's about as real as those assassination attempts on Trump. You know, if you could see with your own eyes, you know that they stage events. You know, it's nothing but a shit show. There is no hostage situation in the essence that, you know, these are really just mere actors, you know, made to look like. You know, really, it's the least of the flock drawing everyone into this war. And like everything else, though, we know that Damascus ceases in that day in the form of the Samson option, which is eventually that last straw, which starts World War III. So that day doesn't come until the MOTB, you know, is made mandatory. But you can see the build-up for that, because now you definitely have Lebanon drawn into the war. You got, you know, all these other countries, you know, especially Syria and Iran, and you can say Iraq are going to get involved. Even Saudi Arabia is saying, look, man, we're not going to have peace with these Israelis as long as Palestine's not recognized. Saudi Arabia has been against the Israeli state on this whole war, so everybody's drawn in and coming up against the Israeli state. So that in itself will cause the Samson option, you know, to happen, especially once Israeli state knows that it's surrounded. You know, they'll do it. And that's what starts World War III. So we'll just continue here.
Israel is sitting here, and I am ashamed that he needs to listen to this discussion. We need to understand what's on the table. We are dealing with 7 fronts.
Monday, America's special envoy visited Israel in an effort to prevent a massive war with Hezbollah. At the meeting, the Israeli defense minister made it clear the time for talking is over, and the only way to return Israel's northern residents to their homes with security, a term officially added recently as the 4th goal of the war in Gaza, is a military operation in the north. Maria Finoshina, RT, reporting from central and northern Israel.
So there you go. A war. They're going to draw everybody into this war. And of course, the war is unbeatable, right? You know, so we know that the Samson option will be the final thing of the war, which is when it finds itself surrounded by all these allies, because all these countries, Iraq, Syria, Iran, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya with them, you know the scriptures, right? Well, Damascus being the closest to the Israeli state, they're going to use the Samson option, sending a nuke there, you know, as it says here in Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 23. Because only a nuclear weapon could actually do this kind of damage, can actually take out an entire city. Concerning Damascus, this is verse 23 from Jeremiah 49, concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded in Arpad. They have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow in the sea. It cannot be quiet. I can take that to the NLT, because there's another brother that usually does this. So I'll just see how it puts it, how it words it in the NLT. You know, because it'll look a little bit different, but it'll say things. Yeah, so it says this. The towns of Hamath and Arpad are struck with fear, for they have heard the news of their destruction. Their hearts are troubled like a wild sea in a raging storm. Damascus has become feeble, and all her people turn to flee. Fear, anguish, and pain have gripped her as they grip a woman in labor. You know, so basically meaning that it's going to be taken out. That famous city, the city of joy, will be forsaken. Yeah, because Damascus is going to be completely wiped out by these nuclear weapons. Her young men will fall in the streets and die. Her soldiers will be killed, saith the Most High of Heaven's armies, which, aka the Lord of Hosts. You know, because you got to get back to the original, and the Lord of Hosts are the weapons of his indignation. The Lord of Heaven's armies, meaning that these weapons will be fired into the heavens. Well, what's the heavens? The higher up, you know, like hypersonic nuclear missiles, right? So, think about that when you see the term heaven. And I will set fire to the walls of Damascus, and they will burn up the palaces of Ben-Hadad. You know? In other words, there ain't going to be nothing left. The capital will be taken. So, this is not too distant of a future. And this is what starts World War III more than anything else. So, hopefully this has been edifying. That's just some things going on in the news. As this is going to continue to escalate. I mean, I think that they will go through with a ground invasion of Lebanon. You know, and start moving their troops towards it. So, that's going to draw a lot of people in alone. Shalom, Brakati Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abba Babal. Brakathum, Jehovah Elect. Shalom.